Welcome to episode 38 of Sound Pollution. This week I have the very busy drummer Rico. He is working on 4 different projects, including Stacking Pennies from episode 22 and 36, and his recently released solo EP. Rico is going to share with you 2 tracks from said EP. We are also going to touch base on these 4 projects, not being stuck in one genre, some cool advice, and what it's like knowing what you want to do at a young age. Please make sure you jump onto Rico's social media and show this musician some love. And now, episode 38.
It's cool. I'm glad that we were put in contact. I wasn't like planning on doing any like real promotion for any of this music that we're doing. So this is cool.
Oh, yeah, no. And that was like my second interview with him. And that was really cool.
Yeah.
It seems to be getting some play, which is awesome.
Yeah, a little bit. That's cool.
You know, which is hard to do when somebody is anonymous and doesn't have like social media.
I know. Yeah. Well, it's like, he pretty much, he doesn't do any social media at all. So for the other band that we're in, Funeral Mask, I've kind of taken the role as like the social media guy for that band, even though like I kind of despise social media, but now it's like, well, I guess I'm going to be the one to do it.
Yeah. Social media is I want to say there's more good than bad, but it's really the other way around. I was not on social media. I had taken a break until I did this. And now I'm annoyingly everywhere.
I know it's weird being creative and like putting yourself out there. I know like a lot of my most creative friends are also like the most uncomfortable with like self-promotion, and it just seems like a necessary evil now if you want to like be popular and have people listen to your shit.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of stuff out there, so you have to. I mean, otherwise you drowned.
I wish kind of that I could go back in time and be allowed to exist in a band where you didn't also have to be like a social media coordinator and like, oh, this is a picture of us and I gotta pay for this advertisement. Like, I really just don't. I wish I didn't have to do any of that stuff, so I kind of just don't.
I remember back in the day when I was DJing, like our promotion was flyers. Like we would go all out to make these badass, like glossy flyers with bright colors that would almost tell you where the party was, but not really. There was like a meet point.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was in a band, like this was back in, I don't know, this is probably like 2013 or something. And we would like drive to other bands' shows, like up to like 2 hours away, and like stand outside and hand out like flyers and CDs to people like leaving the show. Yeah. And we would do that shit.
Yeah, I remember making tapes. I still make tapes, which is just because I'm old, but like mixing and then like making and recording it on the cassette tape on the stereo, and then the parties and like handing it out.
Yep.
And just praying somebody was like, hey, do you want to come mix at my house party? Which never happened for me, but it happened for a lot of my friends. And then it's so crazy because I still DJ, but nowhere out. I just kind of do it for myself. And now it's all electronic. And I was thinking just the other day, I'm like, how spoiled are these DJs? Because we used to have to lug these giant fucking crates of vinyl.
I know, man.
And like pray that the dance floor would part so you could get to the table before the arm gave out. And now they're just like, here's my laptop.
Yeah, you know, this is actually like a debate that I have with people I know sometimes on like whether artists are actually better off now than they were several decades ago. And I think that there's like an argument that could go either way, you know. Sure. There's definitely a benefit to it's kind of like a level playing field now, where it's like, you know, before you kind of had to play like the record label's game. And if you didn't, it's much easier for different kinds of people from all walks of life to get a foot in the door, which is good. But then on the flip side, no one makes any money anymore except for like the Foo Fighters. So I was in a band like several years ago that we were like pursuing like professionally, and I don't know, I guess now like we were kind of approaching it in a pretty old school way of like, well, we need a manager and we need to be on a record label and we have to do, because these are the things that real bands do. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't that enjoyable all the time.
No, it is nice to
play that game,
to piece that out to somebody else and be like, look, I'm just going to make the music. You get me the gigs, you get me the record label. And I don't want to deal with any of that.
But it feels like a lot of the most successful people now are the people that do all that shit themselves. And it's cool that people are able to do that. I just like, I guess I grew up with this idea, like by the time like I was listening to music and being like, oh, that's what I want to do. Like my idea of what that was already outdated.
I know you work with them. You do Sarcophagus, Funeral Mask. You said there was another one.
Yeah. I have this other project going on with my buddies in Boulder. That's kind of like a psych rock type. It's more like traditionally rock and roll based. And we've been and that band has had like many forms, like one of the dudes I've been playing with for 10 years now in like various bands. And we had a band in Boulder that was called Gamma Death Wave. And
good name.
Thanks. Yeah, that kind of just like, we just kind of went on hiatus in like 2018 and all just started doing different things. And now it's kind of reforming again. It's probably going to have a different name where it's still in like its infancy.
So 4 bands, that is a lot of bands to play with. Are they all, I know Sarcophagus is like hardcore metal.
Yeah.
Pennies is, shoegaze. So like, what are the other 2 bands?
Funeral Mask is, I mean, it's hard to describe because see, like all these bands that I have are like drastically different schools of like thought, and like they're all approached differently. Like Sarcophagus is like 100% me. I did everything.
So you were, I know. I heard the funny story about the vocals.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, and it's funny. Like I'm a drummer. I don't consider myself like, I wouldn't tell people I'm a guitar player or a vocalist, but I guess I am now. I don't know. But I had tried like doing vocals like once ever, like 8 years ago. So this was only like my second attempt at even doing vocals. Yeah, it's like I got him just sitting there staring at me like, all right, you can go whenever. And
he's
like
so laid back. He's like, whatever.
Yeah, and his wife is like upstairs, and like I'm going upstairs in between takes to like get water, and she's like laughing at me. It's all the projects are just different. Like Sarcophagus is all me. Stacking Pennies is like all him, and the psych rock project with my other friends, I let them take the reins of that, and then I'm just the role player in that band. And then Funeral Mask is like it's like a complete like democracy,
Okay.
I don't know. I've seen it work all different ways. Like there's no real right way to do it. I've been in bands that were like dictatorships where it was like one guy being like, this is what you do. And that can work sometimes. Some bands work that way. Funeral Mask is hard for me to describe because we kind of just have tried this thing where we just don't really say no to any idea,
Huh.
And we're just, I mean, if like it clearly like fucking sucks, then we'll be like, yeah, I think that is bad, but not really, for the most part, we're pretty just like, yeah, man, like so we're like blending metal and some like spacey atmospheric shit, and like sometimes there's like a fucking like blues guitar scale in there and like some weird time signatures. So I don't even really know how to describe it, but like that record is in progress. I'm like currently tracking drums on that for like the second time because COVID kind of fucked everything up for us. But
COVID fucked everything up for everybody. So
I know.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Everybody I talked to was like, we had all these things going. Yeah. And then COVID fucked it up. Like that is the end of the sentence for everybody. You play drums for all those bands, right? But then for Sarcophagus, you do everything.
Yep.
So how many instruments do you play now?
I mean, I really play drums. You know, that's what I've done since I was like 9. I casually play guitar, and I kind of play bass, and I kind of do vocals. But, you know, like I would never like tell people like, oh, I'm a guitar player, because I've been in bands where we were like looking for a guitar player. Like 80% of people that you meet are like, oh, I play guitar, because they have one. But I'm like, well, do you really? Like, do you actually play guitar?
Yeah.
So I learned how to play like one like Linkin Park song on piano in like 2001, but
you're not the only one.
I don't think I even remember that. So no,
he came out of nowhere with this weird like mixed genre, and it was fantastic.
Dude, I was so into Linkin Park back then.
I was so into. They were so good. They were so damn good. They're like, I go back and listen to like their earlier stuff, and I'm like, yeah, still good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
mad, but I can't.
I'm pretty sure they were like put together by the label, but
I don't care how it happened. It was great.
Yeah.
It had like alternative. It had hard rock. It had hip hop. It was great.
Dude, I had a fucking Hybrid Theory Trapper Keeper in fifth grade. It was the hottest shit ever.
Mm-hmm. What got you started in music?
My mom like kind of made me start playing an instrument when I was a little kid. I think it was like 4th grade, and that like school band became a thing. And I didn't want to do it at all because it like cut into your lunch period. And she was like, just give it like 1 year, because she was like into band when like she was in school. So I was like, all right, I guess if I have to play an instrument, I'm going to play the drums, because I don't really want to play like the trumpet or anything. And they tried to like talk me out of it, because they had like everybody wanted to play drums. So they were like trying to push me into like saxophone. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And so yeah, I just started playing drums. I think it was like 3 years of just doing concert band before I even touched a drum set. All these other kids that played drums with me, they all had like drum sets at their house that their parents just bought them, and they couldn't even play them. And I'd be like, oh, what the fuck? Like, I think my mom just wanted to see if like I was actually like serious about it. And then, when I was 13, I started really playing drums for real. And then that was it, really. That's just all I cared about.
Never looked back. That's what you wanted to do.
Pretty much.
Pretty young to realize what you want to do.
Yeah, it was like, on one hand, it was like pretty cool to just have like a singleness of mind. I don't know. I know a lot of people that don't know what they want. And I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I want. And it's only one thing. And then that's also kind of a curse.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I wish that I just really wanted to be a doctor instead.
I wish I wanted to be an accountant, and this shit's easy.
Man, that'd be great.
Right. No, I had to do this. No, I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. I'm almost 40, and I still haven't done anything major, but it's still like all I want to talk about, and it's all I want to do. So it's good and it's bad.
I don't know, like getting older, I've just had to like realign my goals, I guess, or be like, what do I want really? Like every fucking 13-year-old wants to be like a rock star, you know? And then when I was in high school, I reevaluated that and was like, all right, I just want to, you know, make a living off of it. And then I found out that's really fucking hard. And
yes, it's not easy, but it can be done.
It can be done. Yeah, I know some people that have done it. And then, you know, I also know people in pretty big bands that like were still living at their parents' house when they were doing it, you know. I know people that are like 30 years old, you know, prior to COVID. I mean, they're playing 6 shows, but they work at Taco Bell because, you know. So I'm like, is that what I want? I don't know if that's what I want. Now, I guess what I want is just to have creative outlets. I had a little bit of a sour experience dealing with industry people, and
yeah, it's hard.
Kind of weird.
I think you kind of looked out though, because it sounds like, I so want to say his name. It really sucks. It's it's like, damn it.
Yeah, I talked to him before I did this, and I was like, I was like, is it cool if I say that we're doing another Stacking Pennies record? And he was like, you can say whatever the fuck you want as long as you don't say my name. It's like we're in the fucking mob or something.
But at the same time, like, I think you lucked out kind of coming in with Stacking Pennies because he's producing and doing other things. So he can do some of that role for you. And you can be like, look, I just write.
And it's crazy, dude. We actually met on Craigslist when I was like in between.
Shut up, me too.
I was like in between bands and I've never fucking found anything. Like every band I've ever been in, like we're like cycling through members, inviting like people from the internet to your house, and it just never fucking works out. And then I hooked up with these dudes to start Funeral Mask. I don't know, it's just like awkward, just meeting strangers, figuring out how to connect with people like that. You know, it's literally just starting a relationship or something, you know, and you're like,
it is.
It's gonna be weird at first. And then yeah, you know, we were just doing Funeral Mask only for like a year or two. And then it was right around the time that COVID started was when he started pursuing this other project and then really just dove into engineering, which is fucking so convenient for me because like all my friends just wanted to be good at guitar and then we had to pay people to record us. So this is like super chill for me that he wants to do all the
You want to do that? That's great.
Dude, I have no fucking idea at all. He's
anything, yeah. Just editing alone, or then recording it and it's almost right, but that one thing was missed. So do we like use the computer? Do we re-record? I couldn't do it. I know.
I'm like the caveman in the room. I'm just like, I'll just hit the shit and you like record it. I'll just yell. I don't know.
Right. What if you couldn't do music and you had to work another job? What would it be?
I mean, I do work other jobs. I've never really made any money to speak of on music. I think we had like $300 in iTunes money. Dude, I don't know. I have no idea what else I would be doing. It's been like, it's the only constant in my life. I've moved across the country and I've made new friends and I've changed who I am. And I don't know, I've done all these things and that's just the one thing. I'm very grateful that I have this thing. And it's like now it's like I don't even look for I'm not like even trying to play big shows or sell t-shirts or records, you know. Like the whole Sarcophagus project was just an outlet for me, you know. Mm-hmm. And then he was the one that was like, oh, dude, you got to put this online, dude. You got to like really was pushing me to actually like make it a thing. And for me, it was just I need to stay busy because I'm going crazy right now.
Yeah, I went from doing nothing to now I'm like, I am one person. So I know that means we're coming out of it, but my whole body's in shock. It's like we weren't doing anything and now we're doing everything.
Yeah, I know. It's surreal.
So now that you're not just playing drums with people, you're writing more.
Yeah.
What is your creative process like?
So, well, for Sarcophagus specifically, I like intentionally rushed it. And honestly, I put very little effort into, I have a problem like overthinking things. And it's just like every band I've ever been in, like the hardest part of writing a song is knowing when to say that it's done. Mm-hmm. So for this one, I very consciously was like, okay, like, fuck it. That's good. Two guitar riffs for the song. Fuck it. That's fine. Mm-hmm. I mean, dude, like the EP is 4 songs. I wrote 2 of them. And then when I went to go record it, I was just like, I'll just fucking wing the other 2. And I just made them up on the spot, honestly. And then like when it came time to do vocals, I was like, fuck, I guess I got to write lyrics. And
that's hard sometimes.
Yeah. And I was like, well, no one's even going to know what I'm fucking saying anyway. So it's, I don't know. I just, honestly, like I've never been good at like writing words and then believing that they're cool. But honestly, just after this whole last year, I'm just pretty fucking mad at like a lot of stuff. So it actually came pretty easy for me, which was a surprise.
Like a blessing in disguise.
A little bit. Yeah. A little bit.
You're like, what a good time to write a metal song because I am pissed off.
Yeah, you know, it's like, and it's funny, like I have these softer projects that I can like show my family and then they're like, oh, that's great, because they're just used to like death metal and shit, and then I just keep like the heavy stuff just for me.
Right.
I don't know. I don't even know how to write stuff, you know? Some
well,
songs.
You did. You wrote. I mean, you got a whole album.
I guess I did.
You did.
Damn.
What did you do? You prefer playing to writing now that you've done writing?
Writing is weird and painful, and then it's like, at least for me, I don't know. Some people I know just like pour out ideas, and they're like, it just flows out of me, and I'm just like, I had to kind of force it, and then just immediately like I really just wanted to do the whole thing in like one day, if possible, because once I give myself enough time, I'm just gonna start doubting it, you know. Like I was in a band, my old band that I keep referencing. We had an album that we recorded one song at a time over the course of like 2 years. Yeah, by the time we were done, it had been like 2 years from the first track to the last track. And I was just, the whole time I was just like, holy shit, like I just want this to be done. So we've been talking about it for so long, you know?
Yeah, I want to get it written so we can go play.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That brings us to the new album. You sent me Bellflower and Iodine. Tell me about Bellflower.
So it's funny. Those two are actually the two that I actually wrote before I went to record them. Track 1 and 2. That's just all I came up with. And it was just me just fucking around on guitar in the basement. I've just been listening to just a lot of like weird heavy shit, you know. There's this band from Denver called Primitive Man. Been listening to them a lot. I've been like revisiting stuff that I was into in high school that I hadn't really listened to a lot recently, like Suicide Silence and the Acacia Strain and like stuff like that. And it pretty much just, it just started with a guitar riff, you know, and I like wrote those songs in like drop D tuning, because that's like what my guitar is for. Like, I'm not a guitar player. I don't even have the gear. So then I had to borrow my buddy's guitar to tune it to drop A. So the first time that I even played it in the tuning that it's recorded in was when I recorded it.
So I think you may have more of a talent for writing that you're aware of, because if you did those just like, oh, okay, well, I wrote it and now I'm going to play it, and that's the first time I played it, that's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They're both
thank
good.
you. Thank you.
You're both good. I mean, it is hardcore and it's hard to understand what you're saying, but that's what that music is like. So
yeah, it's really just a lot of stuff that's just happened like around the world, and has just left me feeling kind of bitter, and it just felt like something that I just needed to get out of me, you know. And then as soon as I was done recording that stuff, I just felt like a little better. I mean, my idea with these songs was just down tempo, down tune, short, quick, to the point, no bullshit, which is like totally different than any of my other bands. I need like different outlets. So I don't try to like force that into another band where it doesn't fit, I guess. I'm trying to diversify myself, you know.
But that's good. You don't want to get stuck in one genre, because that can happen to anybody.
Totally. I mean, like growing up, I only played one style of music. And then when my friends started like making other bands, they would get like other people, and I wasn't even considered because I was just thought of as, oh, he does that thing. And now I'm like, I don't want to just be that one thing. Like I want to find a fucking like a hip hop group next. I want to do percussion for like some rappers or something. That would be cool.
Just want to do everything.
Pretty much. Yeah.
No regrets.
Yeah, fuck it.
Is there a type of music that you've played before that you don't like? Or are you just one of those, hey, the drum line's cool?
I mainly listen to stuff, like as a drummer, I like to listen to music where I find the drumming to be interesting. You know, like 10 years ago, like one of my friends started writing like some like sad boy, like emo stuff. And he was, hey, can you just play like some really basic drums behind this? And I was like, yeah, but it was like kind of boring for me. Like I don't listen to that kind of music, but that was back then. Now I do. I listen to all sorts of shit. Growing up, I feel like most people that I know are like, oh, I started listening to the Beatles, and then I listened to Rolling Stones, and then I went to this. And I kind of just like skipped all that because I was like, Rolling Stone drummer, boring, and just went to like grindcore. And then it was only like recently that I actually went and like revisited like the classics, you know, because I'm trying to listen to it not from a drummer's perspective. At this point, I'll play anything. I don't care anymore.
What do you like most about being a drummer?
Honestly, if I could go back in time, I'm not even sure I would pick drums.
Really?
I don't know. I feel like everyone envies like other people's stuff that they do. The one upside of being a drummer is that a lot of people need a good drummer in their band. Like everybody I know plays guitar. Like nobody needs a guitar player in their band because everyone does it. So like being a drummer is why I'm in so many bands right now, you know. I envy like singer-songwriters that can just like travel with an acoustic guitar. Like I wish I could do that, because like load-ins with drums fucking sucks. And everyone says they're going to help you, but they really don't. And then they'll like mess your shit up. So I need a car that I can fit all my drums in to like do this, you know.
Were you he was telling me about like the drum set that was huge. Is that your drum set?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mine. I got a SJC kit a while ago, and I just like big drums. So I got like all the drums, except the snare is like a normal like 14-inch size, but like all my other drums are like 2 inches bigger in like every direction. Being a drummer is cool. It's cool because when you play a bad show, you're just like, fuck it, man. I'm just sitting in the back. I don't know about you guys. But then when you're playing a good show, you're like, fuck, I'm sitting in the back, and they're like jumping around and stuff. So it's a double-edged sword.
If you were going to give someone advice about being a musician, like a young kid, or about just being a drummer in general, what would you say?
In terms of like being a drummer, I would say you have to be cool with being bad for a while until you get good. Most people are uncomfortable being bad at stuff, you know. Areas of competency are important. And I was bad as fuck for like years before I felt like I was getting good. And then when I thought I was getting good, I actually was still bad, and I still had more to learn. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to like, my mom was like, for some reason, cool with me practicing. And then
right on, lucky.
I got expelled from school when I was like a freshman, and then I was just like home unsupervised. So that gave me a lot of time to practice by myself. In terms of just being a musician, you got to know like what you want, you know. You got to know why you're doing it. If, you know, like when I was a kid, I had these like crazy, unrealistic goals where it's like essentially what I wanted was to win the lottery. And I hung my whole identity on, if I'm not in this crazy big band, then I'm a fucking loser. And then it's when you put all of your self-worth into basically winning the lottery, that's a very painful way to exist. And right now it's totally different. I do it for me. I don't care if anybody listens now. So I would say know what you want out of it. You know, if you want to play shows, you can do that. If you want to record stuff, you can do that, you know, but I would say don't hang your hat on what other people think about you, because that kind of determines your like commercial success, you know. You just got to enjoy it, man.
Do you have any like social media you want to shout out real quick so that people can find you?
Yeah, sure. Sarcophagus is up on Bandcamp at sarcophagus.bandcamp.com. I got the URL somehow. I don't even know how to spell that, so you probably have to Google it.
It's all good.
My Instagram is at the Rico Bravo, TheRicoBravo. A funny thing about the stacking pennies, like tracking drums for that, it's like a gun to your head style where that's not like rehearsed at all.
Yeah.
I show up, like he'll just be like, yo, you want to cut some drums? And I'm like, yeah. And then I show up and I'm like, okay, what are we doing? And then we listen to it for like, we maybe listen to it once or twice. And then I'm like, okay, let's give it a go. And then it's like we wing it like super hard.
Okay, so that was, those drum lines were mostly wunged. I don't know.
Yeah, mostly wung.
Mostly wung.
Completely improvised for the most part.
Well, so that says a lot for your talent. Not a lot of people can do that. And it also says a lot for his producing. Like,
yeah,
it's like he realizes how good he is.
I know.
Probably a good thing, because you don't want him to get all egotistical.
Right.
But I don't think he realizes all the things he's doing. And I won't put this in there. You can tell him I said it.
Oh, you can put it in there. He'd love to hear it.
It's like, he's trying to stay anonymous. And I'm like, with all the things you're doing and how much like he's done just between my first interview with him and my second interview with him, the work that he's put in between those two things is crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not going to be able to stay anonymous, because I don't think he realizes how high he's going to go, because he's not afraid to do all these things. And it's going to be damn near impossible to stay anonymous. And that's really for multiple other people, because I see him not only writing, but I see him in a studio, like, doing the shit.
Yeah, man.
He's got an ear.
It's like, that's the thing that sets apart people, is like, I know so many people with the talent to do these things. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of the people I know just don't have like the confidence or like the dedication to like actually see it through. And like, he's one of those people that's just churning out like finished stuff. It's crazy, you know. Dude. I would love to start playing shows with Stacking Pennies and Sarcophagus and stuff, but these are like essentially their studio projects. And I'm like Sarcophagus is just me. I don't have anybody. Stacking Pennies, I've never even met any of the other people.
Because there's a couple he hasn't met.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm in a band with people I don't even know right now. Like, what a time to be alive, man.
All right, Rico. Well, I appreciate you. It's been good. It's been great to talk to you. Talking to other musicians just makes me so fucking happy.
Right on. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, everybody. That was this week's episode. I want to thank you so much for listening to Sound Pollution. Please be sure to like, follow, subscribe, and share this week's episode. It really does help the musician a lot. If you haven't done so and you are able to, please try to become a patron. Sound Pollution's website is soundpollutionpodcast.com. And the email is soundpollutionpodcast@gmail.com. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, please make sure you reach out to me via the website or that email that I just gave you. I hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, be love and make some noise.